Hello, glorious evening to you all, if you're watching this in the evening. A while ago, I made a video called Bullet Journaling for Normal People, where I kind of went through a bunch of my journals and explained my process. As a person who is not particularly artistically inclined or very good at design, I don't really fancy up my bullet journals as much as some people do. I have here a bullet journal that I completed, except for like the last 3 pages. I thought I would do one of those flip through videos to kind of show you what it's okay for your bullet journal to look like. I use a lot of stickers on my bullet journal to decorate because that's easy, and washi tape. This front piece was a postcard that I got with my Leonie Dawson calendar or workbooks for the year, and I liked it, so I stuck it on the front. Anyway, that is enough yammering from me. I'm gonna show you what's inside, but I think we need to change the music to something a little more bullet journal-y, don't you think? Perfect. Now it is a real bullet journal flip through video. We got the top down shot, got the beautiful white background, and hopefully my dog doesn't knock the camera out of frame. So let's just open this puppy up, shall we? I have covered up private pertinent information with sticky note. This is my index. I used this bullet journal from December of 2016 to October of 2017. I'm not very big on starting a journal at any particular time. I just start a new one when I finish up my old one. These are some emergency numbers, and this is a monkey that a friend of mine drew. You'll see some of her art interspersed throughout the journal because sometimes I'll be writing in it and she'll just lean over and draw. So here's December. I really like these calendar printables. I just print them out and then I tape them in, and I stick them in the back of the journal with a little binder clip so that I can write what's coming up in the future, and then when it's the month it is, I just stick it in with some washi tape. I also like using the washi tape for the months because it makes it really easy to see like when the different months are and turn directly to them. In December, I was doing this weekly goals thing where I had it split into 4s, but I was kind of not using it very often. I think I want to go back to doing it because it did help me split up what I was doing. On this page, I was reading The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and so I was trying to plot out our ideal living space. Green and I were gonna work on cleaning the house. We're still working on that. I drew a little picture. I was trying to be artistic. This was my attempt at kind of documenting an event we went to. It was this North Texas made craft show, and I taped in some business cards that I liked from some of the crafters, but what I didn't like about this is how it made it difficult to flip these early pages. So while I like the idea of taping in things to the journal, not stiff things, video ideas, and then me just doing some planning for videos. This is just a standard to-do list, and then playing with some colored pens. This is a gas tracker. You can tell I kind of dropped off using it, but I was kind of trying to see how many miles to the gallon my car got. I ended up getting a new car in April, so I started a new gas tracker for that. This was brainstorming good foods for me to eat to try and help with focus. I wrote down what the recipe was, what book it was in, and then what page on my bullet journal I had the ingredients list to make for easy shopping. I forgot about this spread, so I didn't really use it that often. I should really pay more attention to it because it was actually pretty smart. A page for random notes that I didn't finish. This was a spread I kind of gave up on. I was trying to kind of track over time larger household expenses and how much I was really spending per week. I didn't keep up with it. And this was some video planning. This is me planning out my how to Etsy videos. A big blank page. Andrew Huang did a video talking about his journey to 500,000 subs, and I took some notes on it. And this is just keeping track of when I had my period. And then here, going back to that recipe thing, this is where I wrote down the ingredients I needed. I tried to color code it, meat, veggies, spices, and other, just so at a glance I could see what I need for a recipe if I want to make it. More recipes. And again, just kind of notes. I guess I was trying to keep track of how often I bought these things, but I didn't keep up with that spread. And then here's January. By the way, these printables, I've used the same printables for the past 3 years, and I absolutely love them. I think the site I get them from is called Bullet Journal Joy, but I'll definitely link it in the description. So you can see here, I'm just trying new things with the month page. I try to set some goals for the month. I didn't do a great job of sticking to them. This was my first attempt at trying a fancy weekly spread. I kind of think this ended up being hideous. I went a little nuts with washi tape, and I even said I don't like how hard it is to see my actual to-dos because it's so cluttered. This is an attempt at a daily time tracker that I saw, I can't remember, I think it was actually in the official bullet journal mailing list. This was suggested by someone. It's like keeping track of your day by plotting out the hours on the sides, and then the person who suggested it is a doodler, and so I was attempting to like doodle some things. I'm not really a doodler, so while I did come back to this fairly regularly, I kind of abandoned the doodles. This is my favorite of my attempts to be pretty, and it's the only time I ever did this because I don't think I really ended up coming back to it very often, but it sure does look nice. And here's more of those time tracker and doodly spreads. This is just some lists, things I would like to learn, things I wish I did regularly. I should really pay closer attention to these lists. This was when I was in the middle of a Whole30, and it's just a list of things I really wanted to eat at that moment in time. I did nothing with this page. So more of the time tracker spreads. I think I had the day off, so I spread it over 2 pages. This is kind of typical me. This is just notes and calculations. I wanted to have a sale with my hoops that I had because I wanted to shut down my hoop shop, and so I was brainstorming how much I wanted to charge, how much I could make if I sold all of them, etc. Oh, this was the day that my car friggin' exploded. Like literally there was smoke coming out of the car. It was horrible. Journaling. This is actually how I used to keep track of my hoop orders. I would write down the tubing I needed and then what size and the half measurement, and I would cut them, cross them off the list, and there's a bit of spare hoop tape. Time tracker page. This was me attempting to start up a bikini body mommy. She does these multi-week challenges. I can't remember how many weeks. I don't think I got very far. This is just me tracking my progress. Another attempt at a weekly spread. You can tell it's more subdued. I like this layout. I kind of gave up on weekly spreads. If you watch my other video, you know that I write down directions to places in my journal a lot because I'm kind of a Luddite when it comes to using GPS. I'd rather just write down directions. And then these are notes I took on sticky notes and then stuck in my journal to remember. So here it looks like I was trying to wrap up January a little bit, a little to-do list. You can tell in my journals I don't actually write too many to-do lists. I just kind of make random plans, and yeah. Here is more of my bikini body mommy tracking. You can see I didn't finish it. February. I wasn't too ambitious in February. I didn't write down a whole lot. I briefly flirted with the idea of selling clothes on eBay. I gave that up. More information on the hoop sale, and then just trying to keep up with to-dos. This was an art assignment. I decided to do the art assignment really quick, even though I can't draw. I think it was to draw an imaginary friend who kind of has their shit together in a way you wish you had your shit together. So this girl had like a place for everything, which is one of my goals, and a shopping list. I guess I was going to do some budgeting on this page, but I didn't. There's a page in here with some work information, so I'm just skipping over that. March goals, personal information. Again, I wasn't too organized with March. Just notes. Oh, more directions. I need to blur that out. Calculations on how much I'm spending, a to-do list. An attempt at, making our house more clean and less horrifying. I'm still working on developing these daily habits. This was a journaling page. I didn't get very far there. April goals. In April, I decided to do a Whole30 and to do Vita. I didn't finish either one. And then this is a really good example of how I kind of just use this journal for notes. This is just a shopping list. I actually stuck to using this page for shopping lists. I'm impressed. Not sure what these tally marks are for. Oh, I think that was keeping track of how much I was spending at the store. This is a decluttering plan that I totally forgot that I did. I think I'm the worst example because it's like, oh, I did this, I forgot. But it's nice that I see this. I can go back through and kind of see how much of this I have done and have yet to do. Here's another random page. This was just me writing in cursive, and so I wrote like a fake high school note and some notes. I made a video about how I sucked at the Whole30 Vita and what I learned from that, and I was going to try doing like free eating days after the Whole30, and instead I just made every day a free eating day. I really fell off the wagon. Attempting to do some morning pages, which is just kind of brain dump journaling in the morning. Here we have May. For May, all I wrote at the front was a list of books I want to read. I've actually read 2 of those since making that list, so good for me. Oh, okay, so this was an attempt at another time tracking thing. I laid out the week and I kind of set up the days based on landmark times, like when I go to work, when Green goes to work, when I need to wake up, and then how much free time I would have to work on things I wanted to work on at home. And then here I kind of cleaned it up. That was like my weekly spread. And then I tried to go back to the time tracker thing. This was a whole bunch of notes. I just sat and watched a bunch of cleaning videos on YouTube. More time tracker spreads and some personal information. And then video planning, mostly scripting out how to Etsy video ideas. A lot of scripting. And then some videos that I was planning to make. I think I've made 3 out of those 5 videos. Time track spread, more lists of things I want to eat. Can you tell I like food? And then this is more video planning, more video scripting. This is another case study I was doing on Simply Neological. I was going back through her videos and kind of keeping track of what milestones she mentioned in her videos and how her channel progressed. This is more of that time weekly spread, and then the time tracker pages. You can tell I really like these. I kept coming back to them. This is some notes that I took on a book I was reading, Rework. I just wrote down some of my favorite parts. What is this? Oh, so I was selling off my hoop tape, and this is just keeping track of who bought what, who had paid, etc. So we went to VidCon in June, and I went through the agenda and just wrote down all the stuff we wanted to do. And this was a huge help when we were actually at VidCon, because I didn't have to page through the program. I could just turn here and see, at this time I wanted to go to one of these panels, and we just chose and went, and it was really helpful. June! I guess I was trying to keep track of how much I spent in June. I didn't. But I did keep track of my money at VidCon because I had set money aside for VidCon. So I basically had a budget for each day, and I kept track of how much I was spending. I did a really good job at staying on budget at VidCon. I'm really proud of myself. Books I wanted to read, a shopping list, more time tracker. You see, I'm really into this time tracker idea, but really bad at actually tracking it. This is a packing list. I always make a list when I'm going somewhere of what I need to pack, because otherwise I would forget so much stuff, and it's really helpful, especially when I'm coming back from vacation. I can look and make sure I have repacked all of those things. I'm not sure why I put them there. Oh, I think that's stuff I was gonna pack in the morning. This is more directions. I just covered them up. Oh, and then here we get into my VidCon notes. So this is all just notes I took during the panels at VidCon. VidCon was really great as far as learning a lot of information, and I really note taking. Even if I don't always go back and look at the note taking, it's really helpful for me. So here you can see I was in a set design panel. They were talking about using squares, and I actually took this and set up those picture frames that are now behind me at the beginning and end of my videos. This was a Fine Brothers panel. That was the best panel that I went to. That was so much information. It was really great. SciShow workshop, scripted content. I bought Tim Schmoyer's 30 Days to a Better YouTube channel PDF, and so these were some notes I was taking on that. And now we are into July, and this is a checklist of things I wanted to do for my channel. I'm not sure how much of this I've actually... Hi, Max. Hey, please don't knock my microphone off. Thank you. Move your tail, bud. I went back to this method of tracking time, which was really helpful, these weekly spreads. Oh, this was notes that I was taking for my Etsy Showdown video where I did the slime. More video notes, more weekly spreads. You can tell I was kind of dropping off of actually keeping that up. Some actual to-do lists, a rare sight in my bullet journal. Oh, and here's when I was trying to learn shorthand, which I need to actually practice again because it was really cool and interesting. These little squiggles are whole words. Yeah, that was really interesting. A to-do list. And then we're on to August. My cousin was getting married, so I was writing reminders to myself because I'm the worst at actually like planning for big events. To-do lists, shopping lists, and whatever the hell that is. Math, I guess. And this was when I was attempting to write down checklists of things to do cleaning wise. There's my friend's monkey. And this is another video script. September. I keep telling myself to open my bullet journal and write in it every day. I really need to make that a habit because I think it would be more effective if I did. There's this thing called Level 10 Life, and you're supposed to kind of track these areas of your life. I asked myself, what does a 10 look like for each of these things? And I wrote that down on this page, and I decorated it with stickers. With some budgeting. This is an Afghan I'm working on. It's called Sophie's Universe, if you've ever seen it on Pinterest. It's pretty much the coolest crochet Afghan ever. I kind of pick it up and put it down to work on it, but I was trying to keep track of what I was doing and what I plan to do so that if I leave it for a really long time, I can go to this and pick back up where I left off without too much trouble. Okay, so these are some notes I was taking for my how to Etsy shipping, and then some budgeting ideas. I had an idea of how to keep track of like my free money, which I attempted to implement on this page, and then I wrote some notes about how it went. This was way too complicated for me to set up on a regular basis, so I just kind of started keeping track of what I was spending my money on over here. More shopping lists. And now we're into October, which is the last month that I use this journal. And I made a really solid list of stuff that I wanted to focus on. I did a lot of these things actually, and here I have like a note to a page that I wanted to go back and look at, which is my videos to make. It's one thing I like about having the numbered pages on this bullet journal. If there's something I'm working on, I can make a note like, oh, see that page, and it's got what you wanted to do. To-do lists and just some notes. I was starting to play Magic the Gathering, and so I wrote some Magic the Gathering notes in here. And then this was an attempt I made at using Magic the Gathering booster packs as rewards for actually doing things around the house. This was a page that I just used for keeping track of my score. And then I didn't write anything on the last 3 pages. When I get so close to the end of a bullet journal, I would rather start a new journal than start a month with just 3 pages to work with. I'd rather just start fresh. And that's it. That was my bullet journal. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found it helpful. I hope if you're the sort of person who has been interested in starting a bullet journal but has been intimidated by all the fancy-wancy flip-throughs that you see, it doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be functional. It just has to be something that you want to reach for and that is helpful. I'm not the best bullet journaler, but having it is really helpful. Having everything I write down in one place is really helpful. I don't think I would have gotten as much done with my YouTube channel last year without my bullet journal. So don't be afraid to make it look ugly, and don't be afraid to experiment and change it up. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions whatsoever about bullet journaling, please leave a comment. My name is Jess. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I will see you the next time I make a video. Goodbye.